Thanksgiving is just days away, and one person we are thankful for is Dolly Parton. We're going to tell you more about her incredible generosity and the difference that it has made in the battle against the coronavirus. It is Monday, November 23rd. Let's talk money with our friends. Welcome to the Money with Friends podcast. I am certified financial planner, Bobbi Rebell, host of the Financial Grown Up podcast, coming to you from my very grown up kitchen in New York City.
And host of the Stacky Benjamins podcast, coming to you live from Texarkana, Texas, where we make the Stacky Benjamin Show. I'm Joe Saul-Sehy.
Here on Money with Friends, we talk about the latest personal finance headlines. We add in the insights and wisdom of our fantastic cast of thought leaders. We mix in questions and comments from our money friends, and we leave you with a takeaway to make it your own.
We're going to talk about somebody who has never had any press. This person named Dolly Parton. You familiar with her?
I looked her up.
She might be somebody that we all know. We're going to talk about why Dolly Parton's in the news. Let's see which one of our friends is going to help us kick off today's show.
This is Andy from Derby, Vermont. The Money Talking Party starts now. It's time for Money with Friends.
All right, so this piece comes to us from Market Watch, and the headline, it's by Nicole Lynn Pesci. Twitter sings Dolly Parton's praises for giving $1 million towards developing Moderna's coronavirus vaccine. And just to give you a little summary of the piece, Dolly Parton might just save us all. She said, quote, "Let's hope we find a cure real soon." That was, people were talking about her on Twitter after it was revealed that the country music queen. And by the way, she does a lot more than country music, but she made $1 million donation towards the COVID-19 research at Vanderbilt University Medical Center in her Nashville hometown. This happened way back in April. And I think it's really interesting to note here, I didn't hear any press about it. Maybe there was, but I didn't hear any. I think she did this not anonymously, but she didn't exactly go after any press regarding this. And so that donation in turn, Joe, helped fund this Moderna vaccine candidate, which the company says has demonstrated 94.5% efficacy. And this is the vaccine that's getting the most attention because it's a lot easier to deliver than the Pfizer vaccine. So this is so important. And this got out on Twitter a few days ago, and everyone kind of went crazy. So there was this big Dolly Parton trend on Twitter, apparently 57,000 tweets. So, oh my gosh. And people basically joked that Dolly Parton has effectively cured coronavirus. And I'll just read you one of the tweets. It said, "I want everyone to know Dolly Parton gave us Buffy, the TV series, the song 9 to 5, Dollywood, and of course, the COVID vaccine." And it also should be noted that people know about the Imagination Library, which was originally a program to send a free book to every month to kids under 5 in one county, but it's expanded. It's now delivering books to about 1.5 million children across the country each month. And it isn't not talked about, but I don't think it's talked about enough, all of her philanthropy. This is someone that grew up without plumbing. She had 11 brothers and sisters, extremely, extremely poor. And she was not even, she wasn't an overnight success. You can tell I've watched a lot of documentaries about Dolly. I'm a huge Dolly fan. Well, let me let you get a word in because I could go on about Dolly forever, basically.
No,
she's so awesome.
I think that is amazing. You know what I like about this story, Bobbi, is that often when I was a financial planner, people would talk about, well, I think I'm okay to meet my goals. So I'm okay. I'm good. And then you step back from that. I would always step back from that. And I would say, well, this is a great opportunity for you. Now that you're going to be okay, how do you leave a legacy? How do you think beyond you? What do you want to do that's maybe something that helps out your community? And it might not be curing COVID, right? It might be just helping the local animal shelter, or it might be helping homeless people. It could be one of many different things that you do, but there could be a lot of ways that you help your community. And I love this idea of thinking outside yourself. I remember thinking when I first got involved in my community, I remember being told by mentors that I should. I also remember feeling like I didn't feel passionately about any of these different causes. And I went back to my mentor and I said, I just don't know where to help because I don't really feel, I mean, I feel good about all of them, but I don't feel really super strongly about one of them. And he gave me some great advice. He said, get your hands dirty first and the passion will come the second you're with these people. So I got involved with the Arthritis Foundation locally and found out a lot about juvenile arthritis. I got involved because my mom has arthritis, pretty bad. And it was amazing. And the second he was right, the second I got involved in my community, that's when I got passionate.
And I love what you're saying about starting small because Dolly started in just the one county with her imagination library, and now it's grown across the country. So you don't have to start so big. You can start in one small area and then grow it from there. So, and it just shows that a lot of celebrities can be incredibly generous and they don't always go after this publicity. And to a lot of their credit, many give donations anonymously. I have no doubt that Dolly gave many donations to things that we know nothing about anonymously that have helped so many people. She's incredibly generous, and even her songs have just inspired so many people. And there's a lot of meaning. A lot of support for women's causes if you listen to the lyrics to a lot of her songs, and uplifting different people and inspiring them to go after their dreams, because she really started with nothing and worked many years. And she wasn't even famous as a solo artist until putting in many years working for other people.
It's funny. There's a puzzled look on my head, on my face, because I don't know how I feel about what I'm even about to say. But I think I don't know, there really is something here. Somebody brought it to my attention a couple of years ago when they were talking about cancer research, is, people giving money to cancer research, which is a phenomenal thing. We want to do that. We want to make sure, but they are giving money to these for-profit companies that now Moderna, don't get me wrong, we're solving a problem that a lot of people need taken care of. Moderna is going to make a lot of money on this. Is there something there? Do you feel at all about that you're handing money to a profitable company so that they can make a bigger profit working on this vaccine?
So Dolly's donation was for the Vanderbilt University Medical Center. It was not a donation to Moderna, just to make that clear. I don't know how the financing works for these for-profit companies in terms of the vaccine. I believe there's been a lot of discussion about the vaccine being free for people, or insurance covering it. I don't know. And I don't know that it's fully clear yet. But right now we have a capitalist system where a lot of our drug development, the reality is, and there's a lot of public-private partnerships, but we do have a capitalist economic system, and that is how we fund our research here. And that is one of the reasons. And again, this is not something that I'm a specialist in, so I want to be careful not to give any confusing information here, but that's our system. So that's just the way it works. And we have a lot of foundations that support research and can fund projects, but we do have for-profit drug companies. So that's the way it gets done. But Dolly did not give a donation to Moderna, just to be clear. And a lot of countries that have different cost structures for drugs, they often benefit from the research that is funded by for-profit companies here in the United States, as I understand it. Again, I just want to put it out there that I'm not a specialist in that. So that gets really complicated, but
Yeah.
it got done.
No, and that's why I said I don't
done.
even know how I feel about that. I had just never even thought about that until a couple of years ago. And obviously I've been stewing on that for 2 years and I still don't know. It is interesting though, getting back to the good part of this, thinking outside of yourself and thinking about your community, I think is an important thing for all of us. And, I know we got our takeaway coming up later, but I might've just given mine away, Bobbi. That might be my big takeaway. Hey, in just a moment, Bobbi and I are going to have our takeaways. But before we get there, ART is one of the oldest. Sotheby's was the oldest company on the New York Stock Exchange, by the way, until recently.
So cool.
and largest asset classes in the world, but reserved only for the ultra rich. Well, now, because of the changes in the way that people are allowed to invest, where they buy fractional shares, you now can enter the art world if that's what you want to invest in. Masterworks is the first platform that lets everybody invest in art at a fraction normal price. Now you can buy and sell shares of multi-million-dollar paintings by blue chip artists like Andy Warhol, Banksy, and more as easily as if you're trading stocks. The big opportunity here is that blue chip art has outperformed the S&P 500 between 180% between 2000 and 2018, according to industry benchmark art price. Doesn't mean, by the way, that it's always going to beat the S&P 500. But what that does say is that with your long-term money, you want to make sure that you're investing in things that beat inflation. And art historically over long periods of time, like real estate and stocks, have beaten inflation, and it's not very much correlated to the stock market. The founders, by the way, of Masterworks are serial entrepreneurs who have founded over a dozen companies valued at up to $1 billion. And the CEO, who, by the way, we're going to have as a guest on here soon, is a internationally recognized top 100 personal art collectors. So imagine being able to invest in the very same art paintings as millionaires and billionaires at a fraction of the cost. Sign up today with promo code MWF. You'll skip the 25,000 person wait list to get first dibs. Again, that's masterworks.io. Use promo code MWF to go to the front of the line. That offer expires soon. See important information at masterworks.io/disclaimer. Bobbi, what's our takeaway from today's discussion?
I think this Thanksgiving, we should all be thankful not only to Dolly Parton, but to all of the unnamed people and organizations that are funding efforts to battle COVID-19.
Yeah. And I think while I was even talking about Masterworks there, the art and beauty of this is that I think it's a great reminder that we can help. Dolly is at a point in her life that she can help on a global level. You can think very locally and have a great impact. And it doesn't have to be money, by the way. Especially this time of year, we think about, what a horrible year it was. What a great way to end it by helping out your community. So I think it's a great lesson, Bobbi.
Yeah, very well said. And by the way, shout out to Dolly if you ever hear this, which you won't. But anyway, I just want to show everyone here in our live audience.
This was awesome.
If you join us on YouTube, you would see this. This was not planned, but I have my Dolly Parton mug. It says, "Pour yourself a cup of ambition, XO Dolly." And thank you, Diane Harris, who is a thought leader here and alum, actually gave me this, and it was my favorite mug, and I love having it here. And I love Dolly's such an inspiration, and the fact that I just coincidentally had my Dolly mug here, it says it all. So thank you, Dolly, for everything that you do.
I thought it was so funny. We were setting up for today's show, and Bobbi goes, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. I had no idea what you were so excited about. And you're like, I just randomly chose the Dolly mug.
Well, I love it anyway. I use it frequently because it just makes me happy.
It's a good day. Yes. Today makes me happy. All right. Coming up tomorrow, something else that makes us happy, scoring better deals and not getting ripped off Black Friday week. We've got Trey Bodge joining you to talk, I'm sure, all about what you need to do and not do this shopping week. She's Bobbi. I'm Joe. We'll see you next time back here at Money with Friends. Bye-bye. This show's created and hosted by us, Joe Saul-Sehy and Bobbi Rebell, and it's edited and produced by Ashley Wall. Money with Friends is a product of Money with Friends, LLC, copyright 2020.
For a list of the thought leaders who appear on the podcast and links to the stories discussed, head to our website, moneywithfriendspodcast.com. You can also check out our schedule for upcoming recording sessions so you can join us and be part of the show. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at Money Friends Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. Look out for our polls and quizzes. You could get a shout out on the show.
We're well worth following, we promise. As with anything, remember you shouldn't take advice from any of us or any other videos or podcasts without first talking to your financial advisor. These people on this episode, they're here for your and their entertainment purposes only.
I'm Bobbi.
I'm Joe.
We'll see you here back next time with another episode of Money with Friends.